So we give, and in a modern context, we think that when we give, we lose something. If I give you some piece of information or knowledge, I'm going to be less, as if there's 100% of me, and every piece I give starts to chip away at that and it starts to erode who I am. Robert Cialdini wrote this book. I think it's called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. He talks about 6 triggers in modern society and society in general that people exploit for sometimes not the best purposes. And he talks about it in that the way that our societies and people of strangers are able to come together and form communities is because of this social contracts that we've developed, these unspoken things. Reciprocity is one of those core concepts. And reciprocity is a very basic idea. If you do something for somebody and they feel like you did something for them, there's something innate about most people, not all, that they feel like they have to give back. So the more you get, the more you have to give, because we want to right the balance of that scale. If you want to attack somebody's character, you say you're a user, you just take, you're selfish, you're self-centered, and then we feel really bad. And we're like, well, we don't want to be like that. We want to right that scale. So marketers and companies also exploit this nature of human beings, and that they give you something of low value to them, but there's some perceived value, and then you feel compelled to give back. And I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. If you ever visit like a high traffic area that there's lots of tourists, you'll notice there's some people, they'll offer you a free book or a flower, and as soon as you get that, they'll say, would you like to make a donation to this foundation? And you feel so compelled, like you don't even want this book, you'll never read it, but they're triggering reciprocity. Now, the problem is, after we are kind of wise to what's happening, we first of all don't accept the book, because we know as soon as we accept something, we feel compelled to right the scale once again, or we accept it and say, nope, I'm not going to give you anything. You'll notice this also in restaurants. Right before you get the check, they're going to give you a surprise just for you, kind of like a little amuse-bouche, like a little desserty kind of thing. One bite, you eat it, and then they notice that there's a significant increase in tips. This is also true like when they give you free samples at a cookie shop or a chocolate shop. They're like, free sample, and it costs them very little to give you that sample, but they see a significant spike in sales. Like I think it's 40%. See's Candies, you walk in there and they give you a sample that you're more likely to buy. So this is just something that's happened. We moved away from being nomadic hunter-gatherers. Like we had to form societies and we had to kind of have agreement. And if you even look at those basic structures, if I'm the hunter, I'm strong, I'm going to go and kill something to bring back to feed the village. In the meanwhile, somebody will tend the farm and look after the kids and make sure what's there is still going to be there when we get back. See, so it works like that because we're cooperative and social by nature. So we give, and in a modern context, we think that when we give, we lose something. If I give you some piece of information or knowledge, I'm going to be less, as if there's 100% of me, and every piece I give starts to chip away at that and it starts to erode who I am. But what we don't understand is this, it doesn't cost you anything to give, and it literally doesn't take anything from you, but when you give, you're actually building something new. You're building a bridge, you're building a house, a structure, something in which you can then use and trade for something else. And that's what it really means to build an audience, a community, because the community shows up for you because you show up for them. So when you say, I have a book, or I have a concert, or I'm going to be speaking at an event, or I'm going to sell tickets to a workshop, people show up because you've already given. You've paid them in advance and they will return that to you.